Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my chapter 290 read through of My Hero Academia. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to say that I am extremely happy about this chapter for multiple reasons. The first being there's only one person talking for like 90% of this chapter, so I don't have to change my voices that much, and it's male, so it shouldn't sound as shit as the Toga Uraraka chapters. 2, because of that, this will be easy editing practice. And 3, the chapter as a whole is a great, I called it for the fandom. I called it moment that the majority of the fandom called. So, we start this chapter at a hospital. It's a hospital we've seen before because it's a psych hospital. And we pan inside to see 2 orderlies running down the hall. The first is, "Turn off the TV at room 315 immediately. I thought our hours were over. What the hell is going on?" Suddenly, we cut into room 315 and we see a familiar white-haired lady sitting on a bed watching TV. But what she's watching is not the audio that's coming through. Looks like it won't let me go beyond this. I watched you from afar, so I wasn't really certain for sure if this was the right room. The connection, it isn't. We then see that the image that was the news broadcast of what was happening down at Jakku, it changes to a picture of Darby sitting on a couch, bearing all the scarred patches of his body. We then cut back to the battlefield of Jakku with Gigantomachia calling out, "Masters!" And we see that Shigaraki, in his very creepy spider-like form, he finally notices that Gigantomachia is here, and by doing so, also tells All for One that Gigantomachia is here. "Wonderful timing, Machia. It's amusing how Tamura's body isn't collapsing even after being faced with the full force of One for All and Endeavor. I've allocated most of the pain towards the mutant quirk within his spine, in order to minimize the damage. But even after all that, he shouldn't be able to move. What's left is to order Machia a forced retreat." At the same time, we see that Shoto has launched himself into the air with his flaming foot and ice in an attempt to take down Shigaraki. While doing so, he's thinking to himself, "Taking that giant and Shigaraki on at the same time? It's way too much. I must defeat the injured Shigaraki first." And we see that Nejire had a similar thought, as she's also within striking distance of Shigaraki. But Shigaraki, he's not going to go down without a fight. How strong? Wave motion and half ice. They won't give us a break, will they? We see that Nejire, still pissed, is setting her wave output at 100%, while Shoto is also charging up thermal revulsion. And together they create the super move team up, Flash Freeze Heatwave, Green Flood. I think that's actually, the Flash Freeze Heatwave is Shoto's and the Green Flood is Nejire's, but together they've created. Basically, Shoto's is a smoke screen, and hers is a very bright, like, flashbang, because that's all it's done to Shigaraki, inconvenienced him slightly. And seeing that this still hasn't put Shigaraki down, and that Maki is here, Endeavor screams out to all the heroes to run. But it's too late, as Gigantomachia's hand, now the size of a small mountain on its own, crashes through the force quirk tendrils that were holding Shigaraki up, swatting away Shoto and Nejire, and scooping Shigaraki up into his palm. Shoto hits the ground with a thud, while Nejire manages to catch herself in the air. And this is noticed by Ida, who is carrying the injured Bakugo away. Nejire-senpai, Shoto-kun. Put me down, Four Eyes. You're awake. I apologize. I must not let you down, given the damage you might have sustained. We need a complete victory. But victory is off the cards for the heroes, as Gigantomachia and the League have finally reunited with their masters on the battlefield. Masters, I have come. Please, give me your next order. Anything you want. Shigaraki, we've been through so much. Wait, what the hell happened to you? The Endeavor has reached Shoto's side on the ground, and he checks up to make sure that he's all right. He thinks to himself, I apologize, Hawks. That guy being able to move at all. This is my responsibility to bear. I must knock that giant down. What kind of quirk does he have? I'll find his vulnerability But my lungs, they're half gone. How can I perform hero duties if I can't even breathe? No, I must prevail. I'm the top hero of this nation. As he shouts out this final message to the villains, he's noticed by one villain in particular, a certain blue flame wielding villain. Oh, there you are. From here you all look like a bunch of ants. Hey, Shoto's here too, huh? Wonderful. Long time no see. I don't like the voice I've given him, but I've committed. Huh? Darby. To make matters worse, the League is here. Oh, don't be that way. Why must you call me by my villain moniker? When Toya is such a respectable name. Sure, my face may have ended up like this, but I hope that my own family would at least recognize me. And here it is. The big reveal that we all picked up the first time Darby used his quirk. And having known this, known it for hundreds of chapters, heck, it's been exactly 100 chapters since Darby and Endeavor last met. It doesn't tarnish the reveal at all. In fact, it makes it all that much more exciting. Anyway, Midoriya, who is also next to Endeavor and Shoto, he hears this as well and thinks, what? Your older brother? His name is Toya, then. He's Todoroki-kun's brother? We then cut back to Rei's hospital room, and we see a pre-recorded message that Darby is broadcasting to the entirety of the nation. I, Toya Todoroki, was born the eldest son of Endeavor. I've killed over 30 innocent people until now. I would like to let everyone know why I ended up committing such a heinous act. Endeavor has a long history of being power hungry. and in his despair of being unable to surpass All Might, he forcefully took on a wife in order to give birth to a child who would possess an even more powerful quirk. I was created for my father's selfish dream. However, I was deemed a failure, and quickly abandoned, tossed aside and forgotten. But I never forgot. I watched your activities from afar. People like to think their actions are free from guilt, but they're not. My fire that burned others is indeed Endeavor's fire. While this pre-recorded message was being broadcast, we see that all the carnage that Gigantomachia has wreaked on his path to Shigaraki, that we see several different destroyed towns, people crushed under buildings, and we see a certain shark-headed kid and pink-haired boy watching this broadcast on a computer screen. But then we cut back to Darby in the present. My pre-recorded life story is being broadcasted right now all across the airwaves and the internet. How exhilarating! Your disgraceful fall as a hero has begun. Ever since that day, the only thing I could think about was thinking of ways I could maximize the destruction of your career. Did you know that I used to go to Natsu-kun's every day, asking him in tears why I existed? At first my plan was to wait until your little doll Shoto had gotten all big and famous. Then I'd kill him. But in an absurd, convenient turn of events, you finally became number one. I couldn't stand watching you wallow yourself in your dream like that. You wouldn't even die in Kyushu, either. My heart sank. I even sent the Emperor of Fallen Light and endings to you, and you still survived. Like the cockroach that you are. The number one title you've always wanted is a lot of pressure, huh? Has your heart been purified with all the praise from the public? Does your newfound vigor as a father figure to your children make you feel as though you're developing a familial bond with them? You seriously thought that if you kept your eyes forward towards the future, the past would just forget itself, didn't you? It's time for someone to give you a little life lesson. The past never forgets. What a you reap what you sow moment. Let us fall together, Enji Todoroki. Come dance with your kid in hell. And that is where the chapter ends. Now, this chapter is titled Darby's Dance, and ever since we cut back from his pre-recorded message, we can see why. Because he's just up on Gigantomachia's back, just dancing around. You can either say it's like the Joker from, Joker, the one that came out in 2019. Or you could say it looks like the distraction dance, because first he claps, then a leg up and arms out, then claps and that, and yeah, to me it looks like the distraction dance, but I can see why people think it's the Joker dance as well. And I love how during the last 2 pages it's segmented so that each new question that Darby raises, it zooms in closer on the shocked expressions of Endeavor and Shoto. And at the end, when it's just like, come dance with your son in hell, it's just a full, like, dread and I can't believe this is happening moment. And yeah. So, I don't really have a lot to say. This was a very straightforward chapter. It was a great chapter, but yeah. We knew that Darby had the scars on his neck. We knew that he had the ones on his wrist, but we didn't exactly know that his entire entire right arm, and like a good chunk of his midriff was all so covered in scars. And I love his reveal is great. Because, as we know, Darby has black hair. With Toya, he has white hair in the manga and red in the anime. So, when he's just like, why must you call me by my villain moniker? When Toya is such a respectable name, he actually fucking pulls out some, like, I don't know, rapid hair dye remover or something, just shakes it up and just pours it over his head just to reveal the white hair as he's revealing his name. Which, well, I understand it's his natural color. Darby with white hair doesn't really look that good. Like, I hope that he does it back to black or something, but yeah, I can understand why he did it. And you'll notice that I didn't put as much of a dramatic flair on what Darby's saying because, well, I don't do like dramatic, overzealous movements and voices. Well, I do, but I also have a bit of a migraine now, so that's why my energy for this chapter's been a bit down. So, but yeah, this was a really good chapter, and I can't wait to see Japan's reaction to finding out all the shit that Endeavor's done. Like, yeah, I know he's on his path to redemption, but for that to actually happen, he needed to face the past. And it's finally coming true. Anyway, I'm gonna end this here because my head's killing me. But if you like the video, if you noticed any fun details that I didn't mention on, if you want to clarify some of the details I mentioned that may not have been 100% correct, comment them down below. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.